Greetings, everyone. Ludwig here, excited to start a new account in a new world. And before we get started, let's do our homework. So, as I alluded to in my last video, I plan to start a Let's Play series, and this is the first of that series. Before you even get started, you want to do your research in where you are in the globe that you're going to be joining in. So, if you wanted to join a new server right now, 611 is the current server, and that will be in Globe 8. 610 was the first world in this globe. However, it was locked for entry for other people that are not in China. I believe that's a Chinese only server. Um, so 611 is where we're going to go ahead and get started. And the reason is that, if you're earlier in the globe, you're going to have older accounts and have a advantage compared to people that join later in the globe. So, if this is your first time playing and you just installed the game and you're already in another world and you haven't played that long, consider restarting and coming into Globe 8. So we're going to go into my current city. It is a C34 in World 285. This will still be my main account where I essentially spend my money and main focus on. This is a Let's Play series to help new players and share everything that I know. So if you go into your My Info and then at the bottom right corner, go into Account, you can see that, here at the bottom is a New Game button. When you click that, it will basically show your recent logins and then the recommended or the newest nation. So here we'll see that we have 611. Before you do this, one thing that I remember from when I started over in 285, you can actually, if you start the game, install the game in a phone that you haven't used before, be it your girlfriend's, your boyfriend's, your spouse's phone, try to do that because there is some extra perks for players that start off and install the game for the first time, if I remember correctly. I can't confirm if that is still the case because I've used every phone that I have access to. But if you guys have access to a phone, it's worth that, installing and checking. So that's first tip number one. Let's go ahead and get started. So yes, we're going to create a new account in 611, and it's going to start off with the tutorial. So if you've ever made some spy cities or some just some blocking cities, you've had to have gone through this tutorial. And if you've done this enough, you'll become an expert at skipping through it. It is annoying, but I'm gonna skip through some of these and assume that you guys know how to do this. It's just clicking through the buttons. Anybody can do it. I've gotten good at kind of predicting where the button will show up. That speeds up the time. Tip number 2, and this is really important, is don't just automatically start off in the account that you start off with, your first account. You're gonna need a good list of farms when you start off, unless you plan to buy your resources. If you're not gonna buy your resources, you're gonna need farms, and if it's really a bad investment if you're gonna buy resources. You want to spend your money on a tiered approach of spending. If you are going to spend any, this is not going to be a spending account. It's mostly going to be a free to play guide. I'm going to do a couple of things just to make my life easier from a timing standpoint. So I might be spending on a few handful of things, no more than $20 a month or even less. So, it forces you to play through the tutorial of going through that zombie defense. You have to do that. But here I'm going to talk about a couple of things. So what you want to do is in that first group of elite recruits, you will decide which account will be your farm and which account will be your main based on what you get in that hero for those first elite recruits. That is important because if you think about it, when we do elite recruits, you are pulling a lot of duds. You're pulling heroes that you don't want. And so you want to make your main be the one where it pulls like a nice hero. If it pulls one of the premium heroes, excellent, that becomes your main immediately. If it pulls one of the war heroes, that's fine too, but you want to keep checking and keep checking and seeing, if you get a better pull in another account. And you honestly want to start the account process. So you want to start those new accounts and the farms, anticipate how many farms you'll need, how fast you want to grow. And when you do that, you will essentially get the best account of those new accounts on day one. And there's also added benefits of building your farms as your main grows. There's a huge benefit to that. So my 2 tips for even before you really get started is account selection. Create your farms at the same time you create your main, and then pick your main based on that first pull of elite orders, which is the best one, which one gives you the war hero, which one gives you If you pull a Saki, if you pull a Katie or a Zeus or Alexandria, that's immediate gold. Even if you pull a Stormbow, an Aeon, a Tifa, a Panda, that's good too. Okay, I'm going to pause there. We're going to walk through this. You can quickly take the city to level 6. I'm going to skip through that so as to not bore you guys, and then we'll come back and right before when we do the elite pull. Okay, I'm back. I haven't quite reached that recruit stage, but I wanted to share a couple extra tips. So the first thing I want to do is definitely start awakening your Titan early. The speed up is not a spend that you really want to do. It's not worth it. Okay, so um, a few tips that I wanted to share that will be really helpful is that as you're building up your city, save your speeds for things that matter, and it's really important to join an alliance that has kind of one of these. Here you can see at the top there's just a join button. You don't have to wait for anything. And you want to find one that has active members. You can just join. You want to join it to get those assist speed ups. And here, this is the key number. See, there's 15. There's 15 people online. That means there's other people that just started their city that are building it up. And that's exactly what you want to do. So you want to get those assists in everything that you're upgrading, and that will speed up things considerably. So, um, you can decide your alliance later, but those are really important. One more thing that I wanted to share. As you can see here, you can unlock one. You get one of the golden hammers, which I recommend doing. But even after you do that, so I recommend doing that in the time that you're most active. So let's go ahead and do it. In fact, we're waiting until we know that this is our main, but one of the spends that I will do on this, mostly free to play account is going to be buying this golden hammer. This evergreen golden hammer that gives you uh, permanent construction queue for the second one. It's a good investment, but we're not going to do that yet because remember we have to choose which one is going to be our main. If this is going to be a farm, I don't want to spend anything on it. So we've unlocked the second queue here. You can see it's open, and let's go ahead and anticipate what is the next building is going to be. Um, Here, a good use of a speed would be anything that's right at that 5-6 minutes. So we're going to use one of these speeds just to speed things up because we really want to find our main and get started. So as this is building, what else can we build? We know that at level 6 you need a camp. So let's go ahead and build that. This is one of the things that I wanted to share. So let's get it to a level where I upgrade it. So now you have 2 queues, right? So you can't really build anything wrong. You can. So if you click on anything and you try to upgrade it, it's going to say, and you hit upgrade button, it will let you do it as long as it's free. So anything that's free here, you can either click the free button or the upgrade button. So here you can see the farm can go to level 5. If it's free, they'll let you do it even without a queue. So even when you're waiting on those even when you have 2 build queues or you have 1 build queue, you can go ahead and get some of these um, um, easy buildings upgraded. And one more thing to keep in mind is your VIP level. And as your VIP level goes, the time that you can actually build things for free goes up. So that's another good thing to keep in mind. I usually keep a track of, what's my field levels and how long do they take to build. And while I'm waiting for other things to happen, I go ahead and do this. As we're doing that, I wanted to show you that you want to follow this doomsday recovery plan because it basically gives you the resources that you need to do most of your items. And it's going to really have a heavy focus on tower defense. I don't mind tower defense. Some people may not like it, but the resources that you get there and the progression in the game is really important. Tower defense early game is extremely important because you're getting free items. If you're going to be a free to play player, you have to kind of do the good item things, and tower defense is one of them. You'll get better at it even if you don't succeed, and the early levels are easy. If you're struggling with any one of them, this free to play series will essentially help you guide you through that. Rockets are good at the beginning here, but really almost any combination will work here. I'm not even paying much attention here. It's almost too easy. Just trying to skip through some of that to shorten the video. We will resume this when we come back to do the elite recruit orders. Okay, we're back to the stage where in your Doomsday quest, there is a use elite recruit. So we will go ahead and use that. And if you've bound your account or if you've done some of the quests and opened some of the boxes, you should have enough recruits. Even though the quest will say go to one recruit, really if you do it individually, if you do 9 recruits here, you basically get the ability to recruit 10. So this is what you want to do. You want to use it here. We will go ahead and do it and see what kind of luck we get. This will help us determine what hero we're getting. So that's good. We got a blue full fragment. So that's we got a blue collecting hero, which will be useful in a farm. And then let's see, you're guaranteed to get one of the excellent. So this could be a main. You got Major Morgan, and this could very well be a main. Major Morgan is a strategy hero that will gives you fleet size and is extremely important. It's not a premium hero, meaning you can get Major Morgan through the exchange store. But that's good. So this is good potential for being a main, but we will go ahead and still create a new one. I wanted to show you guys kind of what you do to bind your account if you don't know it. So if you go back to here at the bottom right corner, my info, and then account at the bottom right corner, you want to bind it to 2 different ways that possible. You want to bind it to actually 3, the email too. So here we're going to go ahead. I have lots of Google Play accounts set up, so it'll be pretty easy for me to bind it. I'm going to bind this to the main one I use, which is here. Of course, Google Play changed this login setup to be the game name, and it's kind of confusing. You can rename your accounts to be more meaningful. So you can see I've bound it here and gotten some gold most likely, and I'm going to bind it to a Facebook account. Let's see which one it's linked to right now. I don't really know. I don't really care, but if you haven't had these set up, I can also walk you through how to set up a new one. But if you've played before, you should be well set up to create this and new farms. One more thing that I wanted to share is that if you want to look in your logins, you can see, wait a minute, how do you have more than 2 logins here? You'll notice it's only 2 per world. So here I was playing around with 606. 333 is our void opponent, so I was doing a spy city and researching there. And then here is my main in 285. And then this is the new one that I just created, right? So 611, a level 5 city. There is the one that I just bound. So you can bind 2 accounts per world per bind method. So that's really important to keep in mind. All right. And keep on doing these Doomsday quests. They give you really good rewards, and you want to get the free items, right? So we're going to go ahead and switch over and create a new account. So you do that by my account, same way. Let's do a new game. And sometimes it will say you've created something too quickly and it won't do it. Yep, there you go. So we have to wait a little bit. So we'll keep on developing this a little bit more. It has the potential to be a main. So what I'll leave you with some other tips. So what you want to do is you want to stay on top of these quests and you want to save your items. Don't use anything until some of these new events come up. So let's look here. You can see here there's a new commander challenge. You want to collect these. And I'm going to walk you through, if anything is a good spend or not a good spend, you want to kind of, keep that in mind and do it. So we just did a couple of elite orders, so it gave us some of these quests. This is one of the big ones. So your main goal in all of this is that, see this 2-week period here or 15 days? You have to reach level 16 to get these rewards in 15 days. That's really attainable. I just did it not too long ago in another new server without spending anything, so I know it can be done. You might have to stay active to do it, but this is your goal. So this, in terms of what you're working for, it's getting all these free items that are easily offered and getting that. Growth fund is a great one if you plan to play for a while, if you are playing. I don't know that you can see all these items, but the problem with growth fund is you only get it if you reach these milestones, up to level 25. It's not really hard to reach level 25, but this is a good spend if you are getting it. If you're free to play, you really don't want it, but there is some things that are pretty interesting and tempting in free to play, right? So the first purchase that you do, you get you get some of these items for any purchase, but the first Supreme card or value card that you do, you get these pandas. So these are not necessarily bad buys if you do plan to spend. But this is going to be focused on really not spending and how you can still be strong and competitive without spending. And really, I'm still going to give you tips on what is a good spend and what is definitely not. There's a lot of bad spends in this game, and all these new events are bad spends. All these new mini games are bad spends. You really want to focus on your heroes. All right, so if this is going to be either the main or the farm account, if you're going to either join a new alliance or create a new alliance, that's something you want to keep in mind. I recommend as you're doing the early building stages to really join a new one that has this active members. You see there's 10, that means there's potential 10 assists as you upgrade things. So here you can see the main building is upgrading. This is a good time to use when you're active. That's when you want to use the speeds, and you want to anticipate it like I did just here, right? I don't want to use that extra 5 minutes for something that's going to, just be seconds away. So now we're level 6. Let's go ahead and upgrade see what it needs. It needs a camp, which we anticipated, in a city wall. Let's go ahead and upgrade that city wall. And then let's upgrade the camp here. We're going to speed up some of these troops. And let's go ahead and upgrade that and get an assist. So here you'll see that we have 1 hour, 6 minutes. That's a good time to use the speed. And then we can keep on going in our way. Then the biochemical zombies materials pop up. You want to, as each of these buildings pop up, you want to do them, but really don't use any of the quests until it shows up. So I'm going to anticipate that there's going to be a explore quest for Lucy. You want to wait until that quest pops up in your Doomsday Recovery Plan quest so you can meet it quickly. And that way that you don't have to wait for that, and you can keep progressing on those and getting those resources. So this is, as you can see, it's telling you to explore. Don't explore, wait for the quest. You can heal, that's fine. You can do all these surgery upgrades, those are fine, but you don't want to do the explore until the quest pops up. And everything in this game, when you're going to be free to play, is going to be based on saving items and using them when the quests come up and the events come up. So I can tell you that there's going to be a couple events that pop up that's going to say, zombie gifts. So save the zombie gifts. Save the mobility. The mutant, all the Titan items. Save the elite orders, because those are going to be helpful when we kind of have the quests and the events that pop up. We finished the camp. We can go ahead and queue this. Good. And we actually did not equip our hero, so let's equip the Morgan that we got. You want to appoint that Morgan. And there's going to be some quests to start up and level up a hero. Even though it's counterintuitive, I am going to actually upgrade and start up this hero, which is a blue hero, Ginger, which I don't really recommend because you're not going to ultimately use her. But I don't think you have enough free items to be able to star up and level up, the purple hero that you get. So it's better to just, focus on one that you're getting free frags for, and one that actually helps you build up your building speed, which is critical in early game. In early game, you want to prove that you are an active, engaged and fast-growing player. That's what matters to get into the good alliances. So you want to really focus on that building. It's not important in the long run at all. In fact, we're going to reset her to 0, and those are lost fragments. But in order to do some of these quests, it's going to be useful. So follow the quests. It's kind of a tutorial view. You can easily beat some of these extra early zombies. And as you do each of those tiered levels, you can get these packs that gives you these elite orders, gives you VIP, gives you different items, and each tier of zombie gives you items. So you want to basically, use those items, use the troop cards. But some things that you don't want to use and you want to use in bulk is essentially these officer fragment chests, officer skill chests. We will use these later. Gold, yep, you can go ahead and use it. Resources you want to use sparingly. So some people, I can't keep the quests here that you fulfill and not get the resources. Some people use that. If it's going to be a very hostile early server, which most of them are, if you don't join, or if you don't join an alliance quick enough or you're fast, you are better off not really getting the resources until you need them. I'm not worried about that. I know how to protect myself, and I'm most likely going to, join a big alliance to where, I won't need that protection. So I don't mind kind of having extra resources, but if it's a very active early server and there's early battles, you want to kind of save some of the resources from the quests. Here you'll see it's always going to give you those tower defense quests. You want to stay on top of those and do it just to progress these quests and get those free items. if you've bound your account to a couple of different methods, you will see that you get these free golds. Those are great. Nobody can say no to free golds. There's one more bind method that we didn't do, which I'm gonna skip until we get to the main, which is at the top right corner, bind email, right? So you get 3 orders and 5 blue officer fragments. You have to confirm and send an email to yourself and then confirm that. We can do that. It's not a problem. So here you can see it. I've done this before, so it pops up. I'm going to say activate. It's as simple as that. It gives me 10 minutes. We're going to go in and confirm it from our email, and then we should be ready to go. One more thing that I wanted to show here, you can see that I didn't really use all the skills because I was waiting to see, will this be a farm or a main? If it is regardless of whether it's a farm or a main, I like the harvest skill early on. You could always reset this later with a reset card or the 1,000 gold. But if it's going to be a main, you really want to heavily focus down this attack path. This is also not bad even for farms. I recommend getting to this recall all skill. So that's what we're going to do, that even if we make this a farm, sometimes it's really beneficial to, so we're going to max out that. It's really beneficial to get this recall all skill, especially as you're collecting your resources. As far as which one to focus on, mid-range, long-range, or melee attack, really it's going to be a mid-range or long-range focus. There is more players that are choosing mid-range recently, but it really doesn't become viable until C35. I don't know how long we're going to play this. This is a free-to-play series, so we're going to follow mostly what the vast majority of players will do, which is pick the long range. So that's what we focused on here, if this does become our main. You probably, in order to get far, you're going to need to change your commander name, and you're going to change, your picture. So let's go ahead and change our commander name. We will call this, well, I'm not sure if it's going to be a main or not, so we'll hang on just a second. You do want to click here in specials and actually click through. You get these free items. These are not, these are free, so you definitely want to get every little boost that you can. So every day there's going to be something that pops up here. Sometimes, it'll be in special packs, it'll be in daily specials, and sometimes there'll be nothing if you've collected in the days before. We're back for a quick update. We just finished level 7. Now we're seeing what we need to build level 8, and you need a depot, so we're going to go ahead and speed that up. One thing I wanted to share is that, here there's two tiers of quests that you want to follow. The minimum buildings that you need to level up, and then the buildings that you need to build for keeping up with the Doomsday quest. And I recommend you do both kind of in tandem, especially when you have that second build queue open. Here you can see now, finally, we have the quest for the infected exploration. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Let's go here, and there's 2 zombie ladies that you'll have. And here I wanted to offer some tips in terms of, which ones do you select? So, the grades are green, blue, and purple. I really recommend ones that give you the 3 white envelopes and the purple envelope. So we have some refreshes. This refreshes every hour automatically. We have 3 refreshes already. You can see here, we have 3 total attempts. As you level up your the zombies, ladies, I think it goes up to 4. So let's do 1 refresh. That wasn't really good luck. Let's do 1 more try. It's still not getting there. Let's try 1 more time. So sometimes you basically luck out. What I'm looking for is those 3 normal recruit orders. We got nothing. So, we actually kind of got worse. So, but we have no choice. Let's go ahead and hit the explore here. As that happens, you can ask for help. So you can hit request help, or if you scroll out of it, it's going to say, do you want to request outside of it too? In these buttons, you can do all of these, except don't do this. Wait until we have quests to do some of those items in terms of using these vials. So the items that you can use without really worrying about a quest is going to be the normal recruit order. So we've accumulated some. You want to use these because, sometimes you get some good luck to get items and some full blue heroes. You can even get a purple hero fragment, and then you get the skill fragments. So here we saw a bunch of blue items. So this is actually a really good pull for normal recruits. We will hit recruit again and see, and this time it's not as good. Well, no, it made up for it. Here you can see some blue skill fragments. So that's good. So there's really no reason to wait on the normal recruits. Really no reason to fuse these because, unless this is going to be your farm, or there's a quest to do it, I really don't recommend using blue heroes. You're going to use purple and specific purple heroes to make everything go smoothly. So here you can see we reach one more milestone, and you're getting this hero fragment. You don't want to actually build the blue heroes even though it's available. You really want to look out for this place here, which is the exchange center, and this is gold. And here's why. I'll show you why this is important, right? So this building right here, which is your distribution center, hit exchange. It allows you, there's two tabs. It allows you to buy and sell. So if we go to the sell tab, you're never going to build or upgrade green heroes. So always sell the green. There's really no point in keeping them. If this is going to be a farm account or a free account, you really probably do want to keep some of the blue heroes, and I'll talk about which ones. If it's a farm hero, you definitely want to keep Jesse. If it's not going to be a main, you probably want to keep Godfather too for a while. But the ones that you most likely are never going to use is going to be some of these blue heroes. So I really want to buy this fragment right here, Tifa, right? So how do I do that? I have to sell some fragments. I'm never going to use Big Dog. So let's go ahead and actually sell everything there. Some people, especially in free accounts, will use butterflies, especially if you don't have good luck in terms of pulling the heroes. I still don't recommend using butterfly, too heavily invested. But now you can see we have enough fragments to buy one of this Tifa fragments. So we're going to go ahead and buy that. Also recommend buying the officer skill chest. So the best items are the war hero fragments. I'm not going to get the recruiting hero. I'm not going to get the farming hero because I don't have that many coins. If you had enough coins, you could get Medici. But I will recommend getting all the war hero fragments that come up here. If you're spending, it's a good idea to do a lot of this refreshes. It goes from 10, 20, 40, I think 60, 80, 100, and then 100, up to 10 refreshes. It gets a little expensive later on, but you could do some of the early ones. All right, so we will come back and do an update. We did the exploration. Oh, I did want to show you, this is one of the trickier ones in tower defense. You want to stay on top of it. Let's do this level. Here I recommend using 2 rockets right at the entry and kind of a symmetrical build. So you're going to do a machine gun here, a machine gun here, and a machine gun here. And then let's go ahead and speed it up to 4 times. The rest of it's going to be lasers that we're going to put here. And you have to kind of just be, I'm doing it on 4 times. You don't need to do it on 4 times speed. If you do it on regular speed, it'll be a little bit more manageable. But this build, I find, is one of the trickier early levels that you have to make sure that nothing creeps through so you get the max benefit. If you're having trouble with any tower level, oh, you see, I wasn't paying attention and one did creep through. So we will play it again, but I just wanted to show you the build. Clearly I did it poorly, wasn't paying attention, and 4 times really is a little too fast. Pardon me. I might edit this and add another one, or at least just show you that, yeah, this is one of the trickier ones. You can easily replay it and get 3 stars. It's not a problem. I'm going to slow it down just a tad bit here. The sequence is that you want to build up those rockets, you want to build up the lasers, you want to build up the machine guns, and then the slow towers, and you should be good to go. This is one of the trickier ones, and then at the last level, build a laser here, and we should be just about done. It is important to do this tower defense even on your farms because of the items and the progression in the Doomsday Recovery plan. So even though it becomes repetitive, it is a good idea to do it. Even if you finish it with 1 star, it meets the quest. So that's the good news. And this is actually one of the great levels because you see here, it gives you 2 elite orders. So you definitely want to come back and do this. Another level that's really good, if I can see it, no, it's locked, it won't let me, is I think level 9. See, these rewards at the bottom are not bad. Instead of clicking through each one, if you hit the get reward button at the bottom, it'll collect everything in one go. So we will do the embassy, help allies to us, and then here is the training officer. Here I'm going to recommend that we do have enough to train this to level 7. Excuse me. In fact, we can go all the way to level 11, but it's not going to be enough to do one of the quests where I think he needs to go to level 12 or 15, I forget. So that's why I will, even though it's counterintuitive, I will say build this one up to level 10. Let's go here, and then we will reset it later to 0. So So we've met that quest. You can see we're going to help allies 2 times. That should be easy. We can't really contribute until 4 hours later. You want to get those contribution points. And you need to make a decision. Are you going to form your own alliance? Are you going to go with one of the other alliance? And it's a good time as you're waiting on buildings. Oops, I forgot to build something. The depot goes to another level. Let's go ahead and do that. Here in the stat station, you can look at the ranking. Here you can see the globe rank. There's only 2 worlds, and of course 610 having gone first is leader in just about everything. And you'll notice that all of those players are basically Chinese only. 611 is the world we're in. So in the second time, you'll see the nation ranking. And it's a good idea to kind of look at, okay, where are people's city levels ranked, right? So here you can see that the highest level city is 15. So we joined pretty early. We're not too far back. In fact, our rating, even with this new city, is 437. So not many players have joined, and we've joined at a perfect time. Even if you're joined and you're well beyond the 1,000 ranking, don't worry. You could easily catch up very fast early game, as long as you're in the first couple of days. Here you can see, look at the power ranking. You'll see, okay, we're not also too far off. Not many people have gone too far ahead. Looking at the alliance ranking this early is not really meaningful. Yes, you could try to, these will change a lot, but you could try to get in here for protection, or find something that, so you can see by the languages, it'll give you an idea. This is a Spanish speaking leader. This is a Russian speaking leader. But this is a good place to kind of, also you want to keep in mind that you want this nation to be strong. So what I'm seeing right now is that there really isn't a heavy spender in this world, and that might be good or bad. If you're trying to be that heavy spender, that might be good. If you want a strong world, that might be bad, right? So there's not a lot of spenders. Usually by the first day, there's people getting to level 20 pretty fast. That means there's some heavy spenders. You want a world where there's at least decent amount of spenders and strength, because that will help you in the cross-world events. It's still too early to say, and you've lost nothing. You've invested 30 minutes into this game, and you can really restart in another server into 612 if you wanted to. In fact, that's what I said I would do. Is if the world isn't going well, if the world looks like there's too much infighting already, then it's early enough to where you want to switch. So before you make that first dollar investment, kind of check out what the world looks like. Let's check out the people, and that might actually help you make your decision. Embassy to level 5. We'll come back and do another update. One thing I wanted to share, that one of the updates was that it seemed like the embassy, there was no heal assist for the embassy. I think they've changed that. You can see it here. Now you can get heal assist for your embassy, which is good. Get the quests, get the bottom numbers. Killing the zombies is a really important item early on, because at each level you can see you're getting these first kill rewards. So you want to keep up with that. I just follow the quests, but you really want to get that mobility to 0. You also want to keep up with the ruins rallies that you can do. So here you can see each one of these increases your refugees and your city level here. So you can see we are at prosperity level 0, but at prosperity level 1, you get some gather speed, you get attack and HP boost. So that's really where you want to get these levels to pretty high. So you need to keep up with those levels, and the ability to hold those refugees goes up with houses, which you'll build up. And notice that I build things passively as you have the items. So here you can see we don't have the leadership badges to be able to update this, but quests do give that. One more thing I wanted to share is that here you can see it takes 7 minutes. The next VIP level, VIP 2, will actually give us 8 minutes of free time. So we're not going to really build and waste our time on that. If there's a lot of people active in your alliance and they're giving you quick heal or quick build assists, it's not a problem. But once I usually just wait to do this when the 8-minute time window is there, and then I can just one click, even with 2 buildings queues on, and zoom through those. So we're going to go ahead and one more thing I wanted to share is that, as you're about to take a break, a good time to take a break is when you've started like one of the big queues, or overnight you want to let your um, main hall upgrade happens so that you're not really waiting on it. Here you can see this is a good time to use 1 hour because we can go ahead and start the level 8. So we're progressing very nicely. And the fact that I've done all of those Doomsday quests means that I had no problem with the resources. If you haven't kept up with those, you'll notice that you will have that trouble. All right, so we've built that. We can do level 7, but I'm not going to let you guys go through my failure again. So we will come back to when it allows us to build a second city, and I'll show some of the tips of building a farm, what kind of research you want to do. You want to keep this academy busy. So if let's say assume this is going to be our main, you probably want to do draft, and draft is going to be helpful because it's going to be in a Doomsday Recovery Plan quest anyways. So whether it's a farm or a main, you want to do that. And really, there's no differential. You want to keep these busy even with a farm because you need those troops to gather. So here you can see I didn't really keep them. If this is going to be a main, you want to focus on snipers. If it's going to be a farm, you want to focus on rockets. Snipers because they have more attack power and our back row. Rockets because for a farm because they have more carrying ability. Here you can see there's one more camp. You want to upgrade that to level 4 so you can get that level 2 troops, and then go ahead. You have to manually switch from level 1 to level 2, and then let's actually go ahead and build some more snipers. So as we're waiting for that, we'll come back. You can see this is almost about to finish. And you can keep going and building items and staying ahead. So there is a chart that I'm going to link that lists all the requirements for levels, so that way you can anticipate and the buildings that you build make sense. I think it's going to be the next level. It's going to be training grounds. So we will go ahead and get started on that. We'll be back in a second. Stay tuned. We are back. I just created a new farm account and I wanted to show you that, okay, we're going to make the decision. We're going to go ahead and there's a quest to do the elite orders. So let's take a look and see what we get. Okay, we got butterfly, which is good. Oh, this is a good elite order pull because you're getting those blue fragments. 3 blue fragments. This is awesome. Probably will be a dud. No, Katie, looks like we have a main, right? So we got a premium hero, 3 blue heroes. We are good to go. We have a new main. It was about an hour later that I did this. So the good news is that it only takes an hour by the time you build up one. So this will be our main. We have selected one. We're still going to create 2 more farms. So we need 3 farms and 1 main. But now you can see, Katie, this looks like a new main. I'm not going to purchase it yet, just in case we get a better hero, because Katie is actually one of the worst premium heroes. But still, it's a premium hero, so this is a good pull. So we will just save it here for today. I'll create 2 more farms, do those elite pulls, but hopefully this gives you guys some tips and tools to get started and some considerations. Please do stay tuned for the next of this Let's Play series. This is the first of the series as we kind of walk through and build this city up in this new world. And I will be doing some live broadcasts where people can ask questions, and while we're doing this, and get to know you guys. And this is really directed at people that are more newer to the game, that don't want to really see my old city, and for me to kind of refresh on what are some of the aspects of the game that I've forgotten, and some new points. So please do let me know if you have any questions on the topics that we've covered. Do come and join and play with me in this server if you want to have fun. And then of course I will send out some times where I will do some live shows, and I can answer any questions that anybody might have. Thanks again. Take care. Until next time. This is Lumberg signing off. Another quick update. It's been a few hours later, and we've developed the main. This is the original farm that we created, and we created 1 more farm. So now I have 3 accounts, all in the same day. I just wanted to show you here. Doing some of those quests, the Doomsday quests gave me VIP level 2. Once you get that VIP level 2, this is why here I was alluding to before. Here you can see it's now, instead of 6 minutes free time, you have 8 minutes. And so the build time on these fields, on these food and oil fields, is essentially free. So I have 2 queues. We already started Main hall number level 9. We have the camp going. We're building troops, and so you can quickly kind of cycle through these and do the farms for free in this third queue because it's less than the time that the VIP gives you. Um, of course, VIP doesn't stay on all the time. You can see here I have 1 day and 14 minutes. One day, every time you level up a VIP from level 1 to level 2, it automatically gives you 24 hours. And then, the original one was, I think, when you open the account, you open it with 24 hours. So basically, we've been playing this account. I haven't been playing it all the time. I mean, I have 285 busy going through a merge now, but we essentially played it for 10 hours since I started, playing the account. So I probably played a total time of about an hour, a couple of minutes here and there between the several different accounts. So here I wanted to just kind of show you that you can quickly build up this account. This is going to be a farm, and I wanted to kind of just highlight that the build and the troops that you select in a farm is going to be slightly different than your main, right? So two main things that will be different. If you look in your research, here in my research tree, everything is going to be focused around, output production. Output production is passive and is better. Gathering is also important. These are all cheap and easy to do. So we will go ahead and start doing these in the farm. In the main, it's going to be a little bit different, which I'll show in a second. One more thing is in your troop selection, every time that in your farm, you're going to choose, in most cases, the first type of troop. So you see how there's two different types of troop here? Usually the first type of troop is going to be having more of a load capacity, which you can see the stats here in the top right corner, than the second type of troop. So, if you look at these tanks versus, so in your farm, you'll build the tanks because they have more carrying capacity and you want to gather. And then in your main, you want that back row in the traditional count, so you have more firepower. So you want to select that. Same thing applies here. In your farm, you want to build the first type, the shredder, versus in your main, probably the bike for speed. And then, same thing here. Let's check out a camp and see if that still holds true. I think it does. First type is axes in your farm, gunners in your main. Same thing here. Rockets in your farm, snipers in your main. Okay, so we did the research. We did just, let me now show you where I've bound the accounts. So here, I have bound my one farm and my main into the same account so I can keep track of it. Of course, you can see some of the other worlds here, but here's what I will call my main. I've now put them in the same alliance just because, they can feed off each other and we can, start building some relationships. And, alliance selection is very important. Right now, I'm just, finding something that has active players cycling through. As you can see, you want to keep on building these troops at the highest tier. Again, gunners here, and we're going to build cannons there. So here you'll see that the research here, of course, is going to be focused on, oops, we can't see it because there's a research going on. And you want to strategically, place your build times and your speeds. Like, if you're online, then you want to use some speeds to kind of get the maximum out. And then when you walk away, when you go to bed, you want those big upgrades to do. Here I walked away, so I kept a big upgrade going for the main hall. This one we've done and started at level 9 too. One thing to keep in mind, at level 9, you do lose the protection, so anybody can attack you. So it is a good idea to spend down. I don't have that much resources. And then when you do log off, make sure that you collect, in the closest mines. And you want to gather more oil than you do food, because in the initial stages, the walls for each main hall usually requires one type of building and the city wall. The city wall usually just requires, oil, later on steel and minerals, but, oil is going to be more needed early on than food. So that's why you should gather disproportionately more oil. Also, one thing to keep in mind is that, you want to take a look at this mobility here. So here you can see the mobility is 57. Before you log off for the day or you log off, you want to get that mobility down. So I probably will recall these gatherers and, go ahead and hit a few more zombies. Finally, I wanted to show you that the third city that I created, which is my second farm, I named them accordingly. This one, I just started a couple of minutes ago. It is building, and in this one, the luck wasn't as good. So if you look at the officer here, I got Dock Gray. So it's perfect for it to be a farm. We'll try one more, and before we decide if we get something like Saki or Zeus or Alexandria, then we might switch our main to the KD. But for now, I'm pretty happy with KD that we'd have on the main. We'll create one more farm. I think the ideal starting point for anybody that has a little bit of experience that can not get overwhelmed with this many cities is, if you're starting off exactly new, to stick to the one city and maybe one farm. If you're a little bit more experienced and can handle multiple farms, you should have one main and three farms. That's a good point to get you to about level 20. After that, you probably need a little bit more farms, specifically for steel. And then while your older farms can get enough steel to upgrade to mineral farms.